Hello everybody, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to talk about Warner Brothers and the merger with Discovery. Recently, Warner Brothers and Discovery merged, and they got a new CEO as a result of that. And that CEO and a lot of the new leadership at Warner Brothers Discovery haven't necessarily been making decisions that everybody's agreeing with. Namely, they've decided to essentially take a sledgehammer to HBO Max and take, I think, somewhere upwards of 30 plus shows off of the streaming service, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's almost like they just wanted to get rid of almost most of the good stuff they had on there. Because it's mostly Cartoon Network stuff. And I know a lot of people have HBO Max just to see those, old nostalgic shows. Like, for instance, I just rewatched Regular Show and Adventure Time on HBO Max. But now, due to the choices being made by the higher-ups at Warner Brothers Discovery, they're taking stuff like that off of the streaming service. Then, not only that, but they've decided to essentially flush about $90 million down the toilet and not release the Batgirl movie. Now, I'm not going to say that the Batgirl movie was going to be, the pinnacle of filmmaking. I know it was probably going to be sort of bad. It didn't look like it was being well made, but at the same time, I still would have possibly enjoyed it. I won't know because they're never going to release it, because they're not going to put it on HBO Max, because the CEO, David Zaslav, he says, well, we're looking to go in a different direction. We have a 10-year plan now, and that is another thing that's crazy to me. They say they have a 10-year plan for DC stuff now. What do you mean now? Why is this suddenly a thing that Warner Brothers wants to do? You haven't done that before, and now you just want to essentially copy Marvel even more than you already were. See, their problem is that they won't even try something different, something new. Warner Brothers could easily make Elseworld films that don't even need to connect. Everybody saw Joker, everybody saw The Batman. Those movies did fantastic at the box office. And it's not too hard of a stretch to think, well, you don't necessarily need a DC universe. You just need good movies made from DC properties. But coming back to the cancellation of the Batgirl movie, I find it so strange that they decided to cancel that movie. That movie was probably not even going to be that consequential in terms of, oh, we're going to be losing so much money on this, because you've got everybody watching it on HBO Max. But they decided to cancel that movie, but they're still going to release The Flash, starring Ezra Miller. The person who's been going around America essentially wreaking havoc wherever they go. Yeah, that person.
Ezra Miller keeps on digging themselves deeper, where now the actor has been accused of harassing a 12-year-old child. And how this began was Ezra Miller showed up to their neighbor's home wearing a bulletproof vest, and then when there began a conversation claiming the board game Parcheesi had Rastafarian roots, which Ezra Miller was questioned about that, causing them to have a complete and total outburst in front of everyone. And then Ezra Miller looked at the mother for a few minutes, claiming she was a vampire and wanted to suck Ezra Miller's blood. And then it only got worse from there, where Ezra Miller looked at the child, saying they understood the child better than they did. And then Ezra Miller had a weird rant where they told the parents they wouldn't be able to control their 12-year-old forever. Then and Ezra Miller then left, pressing their entire body on the 12-year-old child, hugging them for 2 minutes. And now the family and the child pressed an order of protection against Ezra Miller. And that's just one legal issue Ezra Miller has, where they are currently evading the law right now. And that's because Ezra Miller is being accused of grooming activist Dakota Iron Eyes, where the parents say Ezra Miller has known her since she was 12 years old and gave her LSD when she was 13. And that Dakota was kept in Ezra Miller's house for several weeks without access to the internet or her ID. So with everything going on, Warner probably regrets the $200 million they spent on The Flash.
Now, if we were to compare Leslie Grace to Ezra Miller, you would see a huge disparity because Leslie Grace, one, isn't a criminal, and two, she genuinely cares for her fans and stuff. She was taking pictures with kids, you know, she met a kid in Glasgow who was dressed as Batgirl, and it was like nice, wholesome moments, you know? But they still decide to can her movie, but keep the movie of the person who quite literally assaulted people and got arrested for it. And we all saw it. This was like big headlining news. Like you couldn't go anywhere, do anything. You can't scroll through social media without seeing something that Ezra Miller has done. Something insane. You know, it would be something as far as assaulting someone for no apparent reason or literally kidnapping people. But an even crazier part about this whole thing is the fact that Warner Brothers is saying that this is gonna save them money and stuff like that. This whole cancellation of this movie and, you know, taking stuff off of HBO Max. But the crazy part about this is that they're losing huge amounts of money. Their stock price is literally tanking as we speak. Why? Because they are making the worst possible decisions ever, and they're not taking into mind what the consumers want. Why not? We're the ones who go and see your movies. We're the ones who pay for your subscription services. The CEO, David Zaslav, he says, "Oh, well, we want stuff more based in reality." Why? Why? None of us asked for that. Nobody wanted that to begin with. Now, granted, we're not going to say that Warner Brothers has always been in tip-top shape as far as, you know, choosing the right thing to do. But when they do it right. When COVID was around, in 2021, they had the same-day release plan, right? So whenever a movie was released, they would essentially have a movie release, that same movie, released on HBO Max. Meaning that you wouldn't have to leave your house in the first place to go see that movie. I mean, I don't think that was much of a financial loss for them. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. But I think that that's probably one of the best choices they ever made. So Warner Brothers wasn't completely oblivious to what the consumer would want. But for some reason, now that they've merged with a whole other company, whole other media company, they don't seem to realize that we are not asking for any of the choices that they're making. I know that there are people who definitely would like to see more of the show Infinity Train, or they would really prefer that you don't take Adventure Time or regular show off of HBO Max. That would be a general thing that I'm positive people would want. But no, they aren't listening to us. They, for some reason, think that it's just gonna work. And I don't understand that. This whole merger has been nothing but disaster. And we just see more and more of it happening. More news comes out almost every day. And we're just sitting here like, what are you doing? We're watching two companies that come together crash and burn because they've decided to essentially kick everybody who consumes their content to the curb. But with all that being said, I want to hear from you guys. I want to ask, do you think that Warner Brothers and Discovery, this is going to eventually pan out? We're generally going to get good things from this? Or is it just going to be more and more bad news of stuff that we as consumers don't really want. But if you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.